What's up, cool people? My name's Matt, and I'm here with another kind of abridged Bible thing. So, the general idea is trying to summarize each book of the Bible by literally just taking a couple of verses per chapter and just using that as a summary. Now, I sort of cheated my own rules thus far a little bit with this one, and I used 3 verses in a couple of chapters rather than limiting it to 2. It just felt like there were some things where it was kind of necessary and didn't really capture the whole picture of a given chapter or story with just 2 verses. But anyway, I am kind of going to change up the format a little bit, or at least the appearance of it, from previous attempts at this. Rather than just having the text there on like a white background with black text the entire time and making it sort of difficult to tell where the chapter breaks are and all that kind of stuff, I instead am going to, manually put the text in with a black background, changing the colors of the text from chapter to chapter to make that more obvious, and also including the chapter and verse references up at the top for each, verse that I'm reading through. So, hopefully that'll make it a little bit better visually and a little bit easier to follow along with and keep track of where I'm going with it and what exactly I'm reading from. And that's the current idea. Let me know after you watch this what you think, and if that's a better way of doing it, and or just keeps your interest in general. But without any other need for explanation, I think it's time to just get into this. So, this is going to be Judges Abridged. The Lord was with the people of Judah, and they took possession of the hill country. But they failed to drive out the people living in the plains, who had iron chariots. As for the tribe of Dan, the Amorites forced them back into the hill country and would not let them come down into the plains. Joshua son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. After that generation died, another generation grew up who did not acknowledge the Lord or remember the mighty things he had done for Israel. The Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight. They forgot about the Lord their God, and they served the images of Baal and the Asherah poles. But when the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help, the Lord raised up a rescuer to save them. His name was Othniel, the son of Caleb's younger brother Kenaz. Sisera, who had 900 iron chariots, ruthlessly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. Then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help. But when Sisera fell asleep from exhaustion, Jael quietly crept up to him with a hammer and tent peg in her hand. Then she drove the tent peg through his temple and into the ground, and so he died. On that day, Deborah and Barak son of Abinoam sang this song: Lord, may all your enemies die like Sisera, but may those who love you rise like the sun in all its power. Then there was peace in the land for 40 years. Then the angel of the Lord came and sat beneath the great tree at Ophrah, which belonged to Joash of the clan of Abiezer. Gideon, son of Joash, was threshing wheat at the bottom of a winepress to hide the grain from the Midianites. Sir, Gideon replied, if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? And where are all the miracles our ancestors told us about? Didn't they say the Lord brought us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and handed us over to the Midianites. The Lord said to Gideon, you have too many warriors with you. If I let all of you fight the Midianites, the Israelites will boast to me that they saved themselves by their own strength. When the 300 Israelites blew their ram's horns, the Lord caused the warriors in the camp to fight against each other with their swords. Those who were not killed fled to places as far away as Beth Shittah near Zererah and to the border of Abel Meholah near Tabbath. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said to Gideon, be a man, kill us yourself. So Gideon killed them both, and took the royal ornaments from the necks of their camels. As soon as Gideon died, the Israelites prostituted themselves by worshipping the images of Baal, making Baal Berith their god. Then all the leading citizens of Shechem and Beth Millo called a meeting under the oak beside the pillar at Shechem and made Abimelech their king. God sent a spirit that stirred up trouble between Abimelech and the leading citizens of Shechem, and they revolted. Again the Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight. They served the images of Baal and Ashtoreth, and the gods of Aram, Sidon, Moab, Ammon, and Philistia. They abandoned the Lord and no longer served him at all. So the Lord burned with anger against Israel, and he turned them over to the Philistines and the Ammonites. So Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him their ruler and commander of the army. At Mizpah, in the presence of the Lord, Jephthah repeated what he had said to the elders. At that time the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he went throughout the land of Gilead and Manasseh, including Mizpah in Gilead, and from there he led an army against the Ammonites. After Jephthah died, Ibzan from Bethlehem judged Israel. After Ibzan died, Elon from the tribe of Zebulun judged Israel for 10 years. The angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife and said, "Even though you have been unable to have children, you will soon become pregnant and give birth to a son." When her son was born, she named him Samson, and the Lord blessed him as he grew up. As his father was making final arrangements for the marriage, Samson threw a party at Timnah, as was the custom for elite young men. So Samson's wife came to him in tears and said, "You don't love me, you hate me. You have given my people a riddle, but you haven't told me the answer." So his wife was given in marriage to the man who had been Samson's best man at the wedding. Samson said, "This time I cannot be blamed for everything I am going to do to you Philistines." Then he found the jawbone of a recently killed donkey. He picked it up and killed 1,000 Philistines with it. So the Philistines captured him and gouged out his eyes. They took him to Gaza, where he was bound with bronze chains and forced to grind grain in the prison. He prayed, "Let me die with the Philistines." And the temple crashed down on the Philistine rulers and all the people. So he killed more people when he died than he had during his entire lifetime. In those days, Israel had no king. All the people did whatever seemed right in their own eyes. So Micah installed the Levite as his personal priest, and he lived in Micah's house. Then, with Micah's idols and his priest, the men of Dan came to the town of Laish, whose people were peaceful and secure. They attacked with swords and burned the town to the ground. So Micah's carved image was worshipped by the tribe of Dan as long as the tabernacle of God remained at Shiloh. Now in those days Israel had no king. There was a man from the tribe of Levi living in a remote area of the hill country of Ephraim. One day he brought home a woman from Bethlehem in Judah to be his concubine. When her husband opened the door to leave, there lay his concubine with her hands on the threshold. He said, "Get up, let's go," but there was no answer. So he put her body on his donkey and took her home. So the Israelites set an ambush all around Gibeah. So that day the tribe of Benjamin lost 25,000 strong warriors armed with swords. The Israelites felt sorry for their brother Benjamin and said, "Today one of the tribes of Israel has been cut off." Among the residents of Jabesh Gilead they found 400 young virgins who had never slept with a man, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh in the land of Canaan. In those days Israel had no king. All the people did whatever seemed right in their own eyes. Okay, so that does it. 21 chapters in Judges, and that's where we leave things off. Let me know what you thought about the new visual style format and all that kind of stuff. I'm open to some feedback on that. In fact, the main reason I changed it from the way I was doing it previously was because of a comment on, I think it was actually the previous one that I did on the book of Joshua. So, yeah, feel free to give me some feedback in the comments section. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up or whatever, and share it with others if you think they'd want to see something like this too. If you want to see more stuff of mine, feel free to subscribe to the channel and click the bell on YouTube to get updates when I post new videos, including other Bible studies and similar sorts of things like that. I also do gaming videos. If either of those are something that you're interested in, then the support, the viewership would be appreciated. And for you, it would be helpful to, do all the subscribing and following and all that kind of stuff to keep track of what I'm doing. If you want other ways to keep track of all that, look down in the description to get info on other social media pages and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I think that'll do it for now. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you're doing well. And, yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon for something else. But whatever the case is, till next time, stay cool, people.